5 harsh truths you need to accept to live a happy life. Life has a way of dressing up its most profound lessons in the harshest disguises. The truths that hurt the most are often the ones that heal us, liberate us, and ultimately lead us to happiness. But let's be honest, most people would rather sugarcoat their reality than face it head-on. And who could blame them? It's easier to float through life believing in comforting half-truths than to stare the raw, unfiltered version of existence straight in the eye. Yet, here you are, ready to take that bold step. Or are you? Ask yourself, are you truly happy? Or is there a quiet dissatisfaction, a nagging sense that life isn't what you thought it would be? We go through the motions, burying our discontent under layers of distraction, but deep down, we know something's off. The problem isn't the world or the people around you. It's the way you've been conditioned to think. Happiness doesn't come from avoiding hard truths. It comes from embracing them. So let's strip away the illusions. No fluff, no frills, just the raw truths that will set you free, if you're brave enough to accept them. These aren't truths that go down easy. They demand something of you. But if you lean into them, you'll find that they're the foundation of a life well lived. 1. You are not that important. Take a deep breath and let this sink in. The universe does not revolve around you. For some, this is a liberating realization. For others, it's a gut punch. Society feeds us a steady diet of self-importance, telling us we're special, unique, and destined for greatness. But the truth is, most of us are simply ordinary, and that's okay. Your co-worker isn't obsessing over the typo in your email. Your neighbor doesn't notice how you fumble with your trash bags every Monday morning. People are far too consumed with their own lives to scrutinize yours. Now, before your ego demands a refund for this dose of reality, let me explain. It's not that your life lacks value or that your actions don't matter. It's just that people aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. Everyone is wrapped up in their own dramas, insecurities, and inner monologues. The co-worker you were sure hated your presentation. They're too busy worrying about their own performance. The stranger you tripped in front of last week. They forgot about you the moment they walked away. The weight of believing you're the center of everyone's attention is exhausting, isn't it? Imagine freeing yourself from that burden. When you realize how little people think about you, it's not a dismissal of your worth, but an invitation to live authentically. You're free to fail, to take risks, and to be unapologetically yourself, because the world isn't judging you nearly as harshly as you think. And the best part, when you stop trying to be important to everyone, you make room for the relationships and pursuits that truly matter. Ironically, this is how you create a life that's genuinely meaningful, not by demanding importance, but by living purposefully. 2. Life isn't always fair. If life were fair, the kindest people would never get hurt. Hard work would always be rewarded, and the good guy would win every time. But life has no interest in playing by your rules. It operates on its own terms, indifferent to your plans, expectations, or sense of justice. Fairness is a concept we cling to as children. We're taught that good behavior earns rewards and bad behavior brings consequences. But then we grow up and discover that life doesn't operate by playground rules. The hardworking employee doesn't always get the promotion. The kindest person in the room isn't immune to heartbreak. The most deserving dreams sometimes go unfulfilled. Remember that time you poured your heart into something, only to watch someone else, less qualified, less deserving, reap the rewards? It stings. It's a tough pill to swallow. But fairness is not life's currency. Adaptability is. The sooner you let go of the idea that life owes you fairness, the sooner you can focus on what you can control. So what do you do when life deals you an unfair hand? you adapt, you pivot, you keep moving forward, not because it's easy, but because wallowing in resentment changes nothing. Picture a chessboard. Sometimes the pieces are stacked against you, and the odds feel insurmountable. But the best players don't waste time complaining. They strategize. They look for the next move, no matter how small, and they take it. Picture this. A storm hits, uprooting everything in its path. Do you stand there yelling at the sky, or do you start picking up the pieces? Complaining about life's unfairness is like shaking your fist at the clouds. It changes nothing. Instead, shift your focus. Use the setbacks as fuel for growth. Resilience isn't about denying life's unfairness. It's about refusing to let it define you. When you stop expecting life to be fair, you free yourself to focus on what you can control. You learn to find joy in the process, not just the outcome. And in doing so, you discover a strength you never knew you had. Treat the unfair moments as tests of your resilience, and you'll find that while life may not always be fair, it can still be beautiful.
3. Accepting that not everyone will like you. This one stings a little, doesn't it? You try so hard to be kind, to fit in, to be likable. Yet, no matter what you do, some people just won't click with you. And that's perfectly fine. Compatibility isn't universal, it's selective, nuanced, and sometimes downright inexplicable. Let's be real. How many people do you like unconditionally? Probably not as many as you'd think. Compatibility is a rare and selective thing. It's not about you being enough or too much. It's about the intersection of personalities, values, and experiences. The truth is, trying to win everyone over is a losing battle. You'll dilute yourself into a version of you that isn't even authentic. And for what? To earn the approval of people who might not even matter in the grand scheme of your life. Instead of bending yourself into a pretzel to fit someone else's mold, you can focus on the people who truly value you for who you are. Relationships built on authenticity are worth more than 1,000 superficial acquaintances. So, stop wasting your time on those who don't see your worth. Smile at the absurdity of trying to win over the haters and move on. Your people are out there waiting to embrace the real you.
Change is inevitable. Change doesn't knock politely at your door. It crashes through uninvited, turning your life upside down. And yet, most of us resist it with every fiber of our being. We cling to the familiar, terrified of the unknown, as if stability were the ultimate goal. But here's the paradox. Life's only constant is change. The seasons shift, people grow, circumstances evolve. Here's the thing. Resisting change doesn't stop it. It only makes the process more painful. Imagine trying to hold back a tidal wave with your bare hands. Exhausting, isn't it? Now imagine riding the wave instead, letting it carry you to new shores. Embrace change, and you'll find it to be one of life's greatest teachers. Change forces you to grow in ways you never would have chosen for yourself. It pushes you out of your comfort zone, forcing you to adapt, grow, and discover strengths you didn't know you had. Imagine the butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. Without the struggle, it can't fly. Change works the same way. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's scary, but it's also transformative. So, lean into it. Let it shape you into the person you're meant to become. You're not meant to stay the same. You're meant to evolve, to stretch beyond your limits, and to discover the version of yourself that's waiting on the other side of change. 5. Happiness is a choice. Let's clear up a common misconception. Happiness isn't something that happens to you. It's not a lottery ticket, a gift, or a stroke of luck. It's a decision you make every single day, regardless of your circumstances. This doesn't mean ignoring your struggles or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing to find joy, even in the midst of difficulty. It means focusing on what you have rather than what you lack. It means seeing life's imperfections not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. Imagine two people standing in the rain. One curses the sky, angry at the inconvenience. The other lifts their face to the clouds, marveling at the beauty of the storm. Same rain, different perspective. Happiness is like that. It's not about what happens to you. It's about how you choose to see it. This choice isn't always easy. It takes practice, discipline, and a willingness to look for the silver lining even when it's hard to find. But the more you choose happiness, the more it becomes a habit. And over time, it shapes the way you experience the world. Choosing happiness doesn't mean life will be perfect. Far from it. But it does mean that you'll stop waiting for the stars to align and start finding beauty in the imperfections. After all, isn't that where the magic of life truly lies? Life doesn't hand out happiness on a silver platter. It's something you create by facing its harsh truths head-on. These truths may be uncomfortable, even painful, but they're also liberating. They strip away the illusions that hold you back and pave the way for a life of clarity, purpose, and joy. Are you ready to embrace them? The choice, as always, is yours.